Dislocated shoulder in 2002, his second serious shoulder injury, threatened to undermine Australia's dominance.
Oh, hello, there's a problem out there, and Warne has gone down on his shoulder.
He's a very, very strong character, and he's a very focused guy. So when he sets his mind to do something, either coming back from injury or some personal drama or whatever the case might be, he's just a strong character, and that comes through.
A full recovery required all Warne's fighting qualities. Fitness and form were recaptured, but the world's premier slow bowler now knew he had to adapt.
So he didn't bowl the googly so much. He bowled he didn't bowl what you might call the classic flipper so much as well, the one that he flipped out between middle finger and thumb, but he just kind of pushed one out of the front of the hand a bit more. So he had less variation, I think, after the shoulder injury. But he, had all that experience. He was very canny by then, very wily, more accurate.
But it was his return from injury which almost ended his career. In February 2003, just a day before the World Cup began, Warne was sent home from South Africa after he returned a positive drug test for a banned diuretic.
I feel sorry for him in that I don't think he was trying to cheat the game. I think it was an honest mistake, and he paid a pretty hefty price. 12 months out of the game, a lot of players wouldn't come back from that.
After serving a year's ban, the expectation surrounding Warne's return to the national team reached fever pitch. Through the art of slow bowling, Warne had single-handedly transformed the game. But was he the same player?
He was a different bowler. He didn't quite spin the ball as far. He didn't get the kind of drift that he got for the Gatting ball. He couldn't bowl the googly. He didn't bowl the classic flipper.
That is the straight one, the slider.
But he was wily, as I say, had that great reputation and aura by the end. So different, and that's not to say any less good than he was.
What he really got better at, I think, was his love of the fight. And you look at towards the end of that series, he came here in 2005, and when all of Australia, the rest of the side, was being dismantled by Michael Vaughan's England, Shane Warne stood up with bat and ball. And I think that stands out for me.
To come back and get those wickets in the 2005 series was a bit disappointing for me that the rest of the team didn't stack up with him. The support Warne didn't get was very glaring around the dressing room, and it was a real shame. For Warne to do it though and carry that Test match series was again just a tribute to him.
Warne's fitness and form had been called into question, but in a series Australia would lose, he took an astonishing 40 wickets and scored 249 runs.
Without him, Australia would have been dead and buried, and he just kept going and going.
I just think he kept us in that series, otherwise England would have steamrolled us quite easily. He kept us in the hunt.
It's all right playing well when everyone else is playing well, but when Shane Warne can still achieve what he did in 2005, when everyone else was just starting to fall apart a little bit, speaks volumes for Warne.
It hurt him that we'd lost the Ashes after so many years of domination, and that it fueled the fires to keep going for one more go at the old enemy.
That opportunity arose on home soil in 2006. Rarely in any sport has revenge been so sweet. Warne's final Test series saw Australia reclaim the Ashes. And fittingly, it was Shane Warne himself who delivered the final blow.
At the end of it, when the Ashes had been won, all the Australian players kind of went in a huddle and started congratulating themselves, and the England players, two of the batsmen were out in the middle, came to try and shake their hands and couldn't get near them, but Warne was the one who kind of broke away to commiserate with the beaten opponents first of all. So I sensed a respect for the game. I think that grew. I mean, there were some boorish moments early on in his career, but I sensed that respect for opponents and the game grew over time.
The bottom line with Shane was you enjoyed playing against him because he would give you all of that on the field, but he would never be off the field. He would never he'd never hold a grudge off the field. If If you got runs against Shane Warne or Australia, he'd be the first to come up to you, shake you by the hand and say, well played.
And with the Ashes back in Australia, it was time for Warne to declare the innings closed.
I think my journey and my ride in international cricket has been phenomenal. I don't think I could have written my script any better. I don't think I could have given any more to cricket. I've given as much as I possibly could have given. You know, for the fans that are going to miss me, that makes me feel nice.
The end was nigh, but Warne was not quite finished with international cricket. On Boxing Day 2006, he became the first cricketer to reach the 700-wicket milestone, and he did it at his home ground, the MCG.
It's a classic example of the Warne self-belief. You know, some guys believe that they can do things, and Warne probably sort of said to himself, well, wouldn't it be fantastic to go out at the MCG, get him a 700th wicket, and he did it.
His final Test appearance saw Warne help Australia to a 5-0 Ashes win as he bowed out at the Sydney Cricket Ground. A career spanning exactly 15 years ended where it began.
The clamouring for his return hasn't ceased in the years that he's been retired. So that's the mark of, you know, the gaping hole he's left in our cricket team.
He was still getting the very best players out at the back end of his career. And he just decided that, well, he must have been 38 or so, that's enough.
A beautiful finish to a turbulent career at times, but outstandingly powerful.
Oh, what a ball! Has he got his man? Is the back foot in the air?
Unsurprisingly, Australia's greatest ever leg spinner did not disappear completely. The rise of 2020 cricket, and in particular the new Indian Premier League, grabbed Warne's attention. It proved to be a suitable match.
He's got fantastic leadership qualities, and there's a certain amount of flair about the way he does things, as we've seen time and time again. So it wasn't surprising to me to see him in charge of an outfit in India with a host of young Indian cricketers that no one knew much about, some hand-picked senior guys, that overseas players, with Warne leading. And no one really knew a lot about 2020 cricket and the tactics that have evolved subsequently, but Warne would have been right on the cutting edge of that straight away.
Shane Warne made his name at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. It's here where his likeness has been immortalised in bronze. A fitting tribute to a true Australian sporting icon. He's
just so popular and so famous. It doesn't matter that he's an ex-cricketer now. He's sort of gone past that. He's just a famous person.
He was a remarkable practitioner in every way and a charismatic soul. He walks into a room, there's something very different. He is a charismatic man who had an enormous skill, and he applied it to his very best.
They broke the mould when they churned out Shane Keith Warne. Yeah, special, and we probably won't see anything quite like him again, but fingers crossed, I hope we do.